Good evening and welcome to Premier League Live this Saturday evening as we kick off a massive weekend of coverage here on LFS. Tonight, it's Bournemouth who might have a realistic chance of chasing Champions League football this season against the Brentford side that have been fantastic on the road in the last number of weeks since the turn of the year. Who will come out on top this evening? We'll have the details for you in a couple of minutes' time. Also this weekend, tomorrow, 1:30, we have a big London derby as second-placed Arsenal. Can they keep on the coattails of Liverpool, or is it done and dusted, the title race now? And the Chelsea side will visit Arsenal tomorrow, hoping for top four football themselves next season. And then it is the Carabao Cup final. We'll get to all the details of this weekend very shortly and throughout the stream this evening. But it is our focus right now on Bournemouth against Brentford. Two sides that have had topsy-turvy seasons. Bournemouth have been up there battling with the big boys this season for Champions League football. A realistic chance could be available if they win this evening. For Brentford, they might have a late chase for Europe if they can beat Bournemouth this evening, currently 4 points behind them, and can catch them if they get the win tonight. That's to come. This evening already, it has been a fantastic day of action in the Premier League so far. Everton got that late equaliser against West Ham. Forest continue their winning ways, 4-2 over Ipswich. A 2-2 draw between City and Brighton. And Southampton trailing once again and losing to Wolves, who pulled themselves 9 clear of the relegation zone. Let's have a look at the two teams then for our 5:30 kickoff, starting with the home side in Bournemouth. In goal is Kepa Arrizabalaga. A back four of Lewis Cook, the captain, Eliza Barney, Dean Howson and Milos Kerkez. Tyler Adams and Ryan Christie are in midfield, with Justin Kluivert in the 10. On the right side is Marcus Tavernier. On the left side is Antoine Semenyo. And Evan Nielsen starts up front. For Brentford, cracking away form at the start of 2025. But they have a big Bournemouth side to come up against them tonight. They start with Mark Flecken in goal. Christopher Ayer, Nathan Collins, Ethan Pinnock and Keane Lewis-Potter in a back four. Christian Norgard, the captain, alongside Vitaly Janelt in a defensive midfield, with Mikkel Damsgaard in the 10. On the right side of a front three is Brian Mbeumo, on the left side is Kevin Schade, and through the middle is Johan Wissa. Players on the bench for both teams: Dennis Soler-Hill, Scott Winterburn, Brooks with Tara Sinistera Jebison for Bournemouth, and for Brentford, Valdimarsson, Vandenberg, me, Kim, Frederick, Yarmolyuk, Cognac, Magoma and Morgan. It's a battle of the bees. And the cherries against the bees. Bournemouth chasing Europe. Brentford chasing the top half. Who will take the 3 points this evening? Kick off at the Vitality Stadium is next. A very good evening and welcome to Premier League Live for our first stream of the weekend, and a big weekend at that. It's already been a big day in the Premier League. You can see at the top of your screen there, on the top of our fixtures, on the left hand side of your screen, Aston Villa against Liverpool. That was a game that was of course brought forward to a couple of weeks ago due to the fact of Liverpool being involved in the Carabao Cup final. And similarly for Newcastle, their game fixture is at the end of the fixture list there. Newcastle against Crystal Palace. It will be played on the 16th of April in accordance with match week 29. So Newcastle and Palace will have a game in hand on those around them, which could bring an interesting mix to the European battle this season. Well, it is a South Coast venue that is full to the rafters, with a team that were billowing in the National League just 15 years ago. But they could be on the precipice of European football this season if they continue what has been a fantastic campaign so far as we get underway at the Vitality Stadium. The smallest stadium in the Premier League might be hosting European football come this time next season. Incredible, absolutely just remarkable really that is a question, and it shows how tight the race for Europe is this season, that it's anybody's guess who will be up there and who will be battling come match day 38. Because really tonight if it comes down to it, it could actually end up being that Brentford put themselves back in the conversation for Europe with a victory here this evening. They're just 6 points off Bournemouth. They win tonight, 3 points off them, and could make a late chase considering their away form so far this season, especially in 2025. As here comes Semenyo down the left-hand side, trying to come infield, seen out by Brandon Bournemouth, goes wide down to Milos Kerkez. Semenyo takes on his man and Ayer, gets round him, cuts it back to the box, laid off now, Kerkez with a shot. Low and hard, straight at the goalkeeper Mark Flecken. Decent start down that left-hand side from Bournemouth. Nice run by Antoine Semenyo. Gets past Christopher Ayer, round the back of the defender, and as he cuts it back, laid off well by Kluivert, and Kerkez is there to whip the strike with his right foot, but doesn't quite get any sort of whip on it really in the end, and simple catch for Mark Flecken in the Brentford goal. Of course, Bournemouth, we talk about Brentford's away form. Bournemouth's home form has been a bit up and down. They had a good run just up until that defeat to Liverpool here. They lost 2-0, then they lost 1-0 to Wolves. So back-to-back Premier League games with back-to-back Premier League home defeats for Bournemouth, and without scoring in February. But of course, the 2 games either side of that, they won their FA Cup tie with Wolves on penalties, their last home game, and they lost. They beat Forest 5-0 here at the end of January. So a mixed bag for Bournemouth at home in the last few weeks. And Andoni Iraola's side, they won't get ahead of themselves. They'll know that the European battle is still up in the air, and anybody's guess as to who will be involved and what way it will turn out. As Mbeumo here tries to release Vissa, blocked off, and Mbeumo trying to battle again. Christie clears it away for Bournemouth, but very far away from anybody in black and red, and Brentford can retrieve the ball. Of course, 2 well-matched sides, I believe, we're going to watch tonight. I don't expect there to be too much parity between these 2 teams. I do expect there to be a lot of kind of to and fro in this game. Both sides are good quality teams, well coached, good defensively, but also with real pace and power up front. It is a fascinating matchup for this one tonight because, as I said, 2 teams that are well matched in that sense. Here's Tavernier, who was going to go on a run down the right side, but the referee's just going to pull it back here for a injury to Keane Lewis-Potter. Around his right side, kind of his right hip there, round about that, as he's helped back to his feet. But the referee certainly taking no second guessing, Craig Pawson, and giving that free kick. Yeah, kind of pushed over by Tavernier there was Lewis-Potter, and the way he landed was just awkward. Jumped in the air and he landed right on his right side. And it was a bit awkward, a bit tough for him to take. And he is back to his feet. He's actually doing a bit of defending at the moment, just seeing that ball out for a Brentford throw. But a very awkward landing for Keane Lewis-Potter there. A reminder for you, our referee this evening, Craig Pawson. VAR is Paul Tierney. Hopefully we'll not need to hear from Paul Tierney too much tonight. Let's hope not. And Brentford ready to take this through in down the left-hand side. Cleared away by Christie. Evan Nielsen trying to make the most of Ethan Pinnock there, but Pinnock does well. Brentford clear their lines. Vissa unable to keep it. Nice work from Kluivert. Heads it down towards Semenyo. Semenyo brought down around the box. No penalty, said the referee. Play on. Christie. Edge of the D. Shot blocked. Kluivert keeps it alive. Now Tavernier finds Milos Kerkez. Back to Tavernier again. He'll try and whip it round the back post, but Christie can't keep it in. And it will be a Bournemouth goal kick. A decent opportunity there. Antoine Semenyo was making the claim that he was fouled, but the referee saw no issue. We'll see it again. Yeah, there was no foul. Vitaliana just leans in on him, but he certainly doesn't trip him up. And it is just a loss of balance really there from Antoine Semenyo. Not a foul. and certainly not a penalty. And we play on and end up Brentford get the goal kick. Tick long there. Shada trying to help it along to Visa. But the Bournemouth defence clearing quite comfortably. Ilya Zabarny there with the clearance. Well, the reverse fixture certainly offered up a tasty affair back in November. A 3-2 thriller at the G-Tech. Brentford coming out the victors on that occasion by 3-2. All 5 goals were scored before the hour mark of that game. It was 1-1 at half-time. And 3 goals in 13 minutes at the start of the second half were enough for Brentford to come from 2-1 down to win 3-2 from help from Mikkel Damsgaard and Johan Vissa on that occasion. Quite interestingly, Bournemouth have never beaten Brentford in the Premier League. They have met 5 previous times. Brentford have won 3 times and drawn twice. Bournemouth have never beaten Brentford in the Premier League era. The last time Bournemouth beat Brentford was back in the Championship playoffs when they won the first leg by 1-0 here, but lost the second leg by 3-1 of that semi-final. And Brentford headed to Wembley and didn't look back from then because they claimed promotion by winning the Championship playoffs. The last league victory over Bournemouth in a normal league season was actually back in August 2014 when they met in the Championship and Bournemouth won by 1-0. And Junior Stanislas was the scorer that day. 11 years ago since the last time Bournemouth beat Brentford in a league match. Semenyo again trying to fade it in behind. Well seen out by Nathan Collins, but it does get Bournemouth a corner. Yeah, it's a nice ball down that left channel. Really nicely worked. I think it's Kerkez again that just feeds it through. And Semenyo makes that run on the outside of the defender again, making that run behind, and Collins has to deal with the ball and put it behind for the corner. Justin Kluivert is over it on this left-hand side. Right-footed delivery, whipped towards the back post and punched away by Flecken. As Tavernier kept it alive. Semenyo trying to battle, but well cleared away by Damsgaard. And Bomo trying to break free. Gets past Tavernier, tries the switch pass, intercepted by Cook. It goes long again. Again, calmly dealt with by Ethan Pinnock, but won back well by Ryan Christie. Tavernier, Christie now. Not sure whether to go forward or backwards. He does go forward, but Cook goes backwards to Adams. Now Howson. Howson, space to stride forward here. Dean Howson with a strike. And blocked by Nathan Collins, bound for another corner. The space just opened up for him like the parting of the Red Sea. Dean Howson came charging through. No one in Brentford pink trying to close him down. And as he gets to the edge of the box, he strikes with his left foot. And it's a good block by Collins. Just a reactionary block by Nathan Collins, but it needed it as it was heading towards goal, that shot. Corner delivered. Cleared away by Collins again. Nicely fed back wide to Kluivert, who didn't get himself back into an onside position. Rookie error there from Justin Kluivert. Bournemouth were building a bit of momentum, and it was completely eradicated by that offside call. You will see the delivery cleared away by Collins, and then it was taken down beautifully, fed back out wide to Kluivert, but as the ball was played by his teammate, I couldn't see it was. He was just offside. Brentford wanting a free kick there. Kevin Shada felt he was upended by Lewis Cook, but battle was fair, said the referee. Just a throw into Bournemouth. 10 minutes gone, 0-0. Bournemouth starting the better of the two sides, having a few more attacking opportunities. Certainly more of the ball so far. Brentford awaiting their opportunity. So here it comes. Sloppy ball by Bournemouth. Try to play it in behind first time, but Zabarny cleared it away. Although picked up nicely down the left-hand side. Lovely work by Vissa. Janelt with a cut back into the box. Damsgaard couldn't get on the end of it. And now Bournemouth want a counter. Kluivert. Tavernier out to the right side. Cook keeps it in play. He's got the run of Evan Nielsen ahead of him. Takes that option. Evan Nielsen down the right flank. Cuts back to Tavernier. Edge of the box. Has to come back wide to Cook. Now Tavernier again. And back the way it comes to Tyler Adams. Now Huyson. Again, very interesting that Bournemouth were quick to get to move the ball up the field in transition. Not looking to wait around, not looking to build from the back. Just get the ball to your centre forward, get the ball up the field and claim more territory. 89% of the possession so far has been outside of the Bournemouth defensive third. So they've certainly had the command of the territory so far. Of the home side. And had a lot of the possession, over 60% of the ball in the first 12 minutes or so. Have the Cherries. And quite interesting, a season that Bournemouth are having. You know, if I look at my predictions, where did I have Bournemouth? I had Bournemouth in 13th on my predictions at the start of the season. I thought they would be a good side on Andoni Iraola this season after a bit of a topsy-turvy last campaign with, of course, the way that the season started. But Andoni Iraola getting them playing good football and a good quality side, and I thought they'd be a good mid-table team this year, but they're better than that. They're a good European battler, are Bournemouth, and they're certainly showing up this season. 12 wins in their 28 Premier League games. Although here come Brentford with their first chance of the game. Janelt just behind Shada, and Semenyo trying to carry it away, but well won back by Ayer. Now wide to Mbeumo, into the box, and Mbeumo's ball headed away by Huyson. A lovely first time ball by Kluivert to release the pressure. Although Tavernier gets caught in possession now. Damsgaard lays it off to Vissa. Vissa on the spin. Lays it off to Ayer. Ayer over the top trying to find Mbeumo. Too much. And Kepa can retrieve. But a bit of tussling for possession there in the last minute or so. Game opening up. Evan Nielsen striding forward now. Evan Nielsen. Little tricky character. Evan Nielsen breaking into the box. But the delivery across goal was lacking. And goes behind for a goal kick. Just for a second there, it looked like Evan Nielsen was having free roam. Just charging his way through. Similar to Dean Huyson, although this time a lot tighter of a space. And he's carried wide by his touch. And as he tries to chip it back across goal, it just takes too much. And goes behind for a goal kick. But as I was saying, 12 wins out of 28 games this season for Bournemouth. Only the top 6 have won more games this season than them. Of course, Newcastle City, Chelsea, Forest, Arsenal and Liverpool. They're in that good mix of teams. And there actually is a good mix of teams all the way down to Tottenham that have all got double-figure wins. Between 10 and 12 wins, they're a good, what is that, 7 teams? And that's why the chase for Europe is so open, because there is such closeness between so many teams in the Premier League this year that actually what was known as mid-table teams are maybe just making a sneaky push for Europe this season. And because there's so much availability with the likes of the Champions League now looking likely, there will be 5 places for next season's Champions League, there is a little bit more room for scope and manoeuvre for European football, and including the fact that the FA Cup is so open that anybody that remains in that competition could win it and get a European spot themselves from that alone. So the chase for Europe is more than certainly on in the Premier League this year, and it's anybody's guess as to who will get whatever many spots. It looks like it will be 8 spots for Europe next year for Premier League teams. As ball played forward there, not quite finding Keane Lewis Potter on the underlap, and that was seen out to play well by Ilya Zabani for a Bournemouth throw. And of course, we need to take into consideration as well, there are English sides that might be on course to try and win European competition this season. Chelsea, favourites for the Conference League. Of course, Manchester United and Tottenham still in the Europa League, so there is scope there that maybe they could pick up a European spot. And considering two of those teams, both of the Europa League teams, United and Tottenham, are nowhere near facing trying to chase Europe in terms of their league position this year, because their mediocrity of lower half of the table, it's quite remarkable what we've seen from those two clubs this season. The drop-off has been absolutely exponential. Nowhere near the top half, either of the two of them, at this minute in time. Here's Huysen. Takes the ball forward. Kerkez now. He's had a bit of a haircut, I think, Milos Kerkez. Not that that's a massive talking point, but just an observation. Back to Kepa. Zabarnyi back to Kepa Arrizabalaga, former Chelsea goalkeeper. Kepa goes long. Over the head of Tavernier, helped away by Evan Nielsen, who takes it down nicely. And now that's a lovely ball by Kluivert, given wide to Semenyo. Rolls it in behind, underlapping was Kerkez, gets the cross in, and the ball finds the back of the net, where Kerkez gets on the underlap. Again, I said it, the run on the outside of the defender, but they're aware of that with Semenyo. They don't spot the underlapping run from Kerkez, and as the ball comes across, Tavernier gets in the mix, and I think Janelt might have the last touch on it. Yeah, it just comes off the right shoulder of Vitaly Janelt, and that will be an own goal. Tavernier was in the mix, but it is no doubt who it comes off, and it is Vitaly Janelt with an own goal that gives Bournemouth the lead. Bournemouth 1, Brentford 0. And there you are. Lovely little football. The whole front four of Bournemouth involved. And that is what has them 1-0 to the good. Neither of the four of them put that into the back of the net, but they all play their part in getting involved in that move, and that's the threat of the Bournemouth forward line. They don't even have to put the ball into the back of the net to score a goal against you. Immense quality. It was just a really nice kind of attacking piece of football. Working up between the lines, playing those underlapping runs that we're seeing so much more often now from fullbacks. Coming on the inside of their winger rather than on the outside, what was known obviously as the overlap. Semenyo trying to win the ball back off Christopher Ayer there, but it's a bit too over-aggressive in his approach. And a free kick will go Brentford's way there. Yeah, it was a good battle, but Ayer was kind of held by Semenyo a bit too much for the referee's liking. Nice ball down the right-hand side here for Brian Mbeumo. Chopping onto his left. Lays it off to Norgard, who delivers. And the header down by Shada was inoffensive, really, to the Bournemouth goalkeeper, Kepa. Really didn't have to do very much there. Struggle to really get the ball forward very much so far on a consistent basis, Brentford, in these early moments. Bournemouth have just had control of the ball and that calmness to not only play a long ball, but have the kind of quality of touch, take the touch and settle the game down and just play that intricate play again. It's Kluivert's ball in. Oh, not cleared away. Still alive at the byline here. Tavernier keeps it in. He's trying to get past Collins. He feels he's being held by Collins, but let go of now as he just plays the ball back to Zabarnyi. Now Kluivert. Finding Tavernier. Has to come back the way. Adams. Nice ball into Kluivert again. Taking a second or two to think. Has to turn backwards. Here's Huysen. Just got that understanding, Bournemouth, that just be patient, not force the issue too much. Evasive action was needed there from Huysen. Not winning the second ball, they do eventually have the ball back. But under pressure there, Lewis Cook could only find the ball out of play. Throw into Brentford. But a very positive start for Bournemouth. You know, with a win this evening, could put themselves within a point of Champions League places. They win this evening, they will go up to 6th. And of course, Chelsea's trip to Arsenal tomorrow. They would be a point behind Manchester City in 5th, 2 points behind Chelsea in 4th, and very much in the mix for European football, ahead of both Newcastle and Brighton on goal difference with a win this evening. Will Bournemouth. As Vissa, nice ball into Shada, heavy touch, allows the defender Zabarnyi to get in the way and clear his lines. As Collins goes back to his goalkeeper Flecken, chased by Evan Nielsen, but and this simple ball out to Collins again settles the Brentford defence. Higher under pressure. Collins also under pressure. They've given the ball away. Evan Nielsen on the edge of the box here. Lays it off to Kluivert. Body's in the way. Gets it to Semenyo, but the flag's going to go up. There. Against Kluivert again it was. Yeah, but see this again. Evan Nielsen wins the ball back, but I think Justin Kluivert might be... Oh no, Evan Nielsen was offside, sorry, when Semenyo played the ball. Yeah, he was offside. Again, a bit nervy that from Brentford defensively. They settled themselves, but maybe got too settled. Maybe a bit too complacent there. That's a poor ball. Given away cheaply there by Damsgaard. Beaten off by his opposite number in Semenyo. Still on the run. Semenyo whips the ball into the box. Away by Collins. Norgard directs it out wide to Mbeumo now. Trying to get Brentford forward. Runs into Christie. Christie goes down, but Mbeumo still running. And now he flips one over the top. Shada battling there with Howson, but Howson coming out on top and winning Bournemouth a throw-in. Strong defending as Christie hobbles back to his feet after that earlier collision with Brian Mbeumo. A couple of physical battles so far that are of interest. Halfway through the first half, Bournemouth leading by a goal to nil. The own goal from Vitaly Janelt enough to give the home side the lead so far. And probably a deserved lead from the way that they've played up to this stage of the game. Have been positive, have been aggressive, have been really showing a lot of quality on the ball in attacking areas, and certainly causing Brentford some problems in these early moments. Lewis Potter to take this through in for Brentford. Down the line it goes, and Vissa seen out well by Lewis Cook, who wins Bournemouth the throw-in. You're just lacking that link-up at the minute, Brentford. So often it seems like they've got a sixth sense, their players, to know where each other is at any given moment in time, but so far they haven't got going. The engine's been spitting a little bit so far. Hasn't quite got kicked into gear, have the visitors. Kepa has the ball here for Bournemouth. Ready to go long. Trying to find the left channel. In the end, Brentford win the first header and the second. Shada there, battling to keep the possession. Gets it back to Ayer under pressure. Well, one thing you've got to give credit for, certainly for Bournemouth this season, is not only being in the position they're in quite unexpectedly, but also the fact that they've had to deal with a lot of injuries this season, and they make no excuses. You know, I think there was one game, I think I did a game a number of weeks ago, if I could find the Bournemouth game, as Vissa there absolutely slices one, come well wide. I think it might have been the Brighton game, where they lost 2-1 away from home, Bournemouth. I remember doing that game, and I looked at the bench, and I thought, There are a lot of players here that I've not seen before. And I think there was another game before that as well, where I was watching Bournemouth and I thought, they have a lot of players out injured. I think it was one of those games where they just had a whole bench full of youngsters. And you're kind of like, that's when you know a squad is at their real kind of bare edges. That they've stretched right to the bone, and they've got their best players out in the field. And if it doesn't work, they've got no options off the bench. But at no point this season when they've had injuries have Bournemouth complained or used it as an excuse for their performances or not winning games of football. They've just got on with it. And I think sometimes expectation can ride high. You know, we talk about Tottenham and how a lot of their excuses this season have been down to injuries. And maybe so, maybe fairly so, that a lot of their underperformance this season, Spurs, has been down to a complete decimation with injuries. But if we compare the two clubs, Tottenham and Brentford, Tottenham and Bournemouth, expectation not on the same planet. Tottenham are expected to chase for European football. Bournemouth are expected to maybe finish in the top half and maybe make a late chase for Europe if is all possible, but that's not an expectation. To compare the two sides, one has played under that pressure massively, Tottenham. They've played under that pressure, and that's where their performances have kind of struggled this season, when they've used injuries as an excuse to their problems. But Bournemouth have just carried on through and thought, well, we've no expectation. We're doing well. One, why should we complain? And two, you know, it's a bit of a defeatist mentality to use kind of injuries as an excuse for bad performances when you can still feel a strong 11 on the field. And certainly Bournemouth have been able to do that, certainly this season, and by far, certainly performing due to that factor. So far, they lead here this evening by a goal to nil. Brentford still very much in the game, there's no doubt about that, but at the moment, Thomas Frank's side have really just been struggling just to get the ball anywhere in positive areas on a consistent basis. Certainly not getting in the testing Kepa as much so far. The Bournemouth keeper's had a pretty comfortable ride of it so far. Here's Damsgaard. Now Ayer down the right hand side, comes to Mbeumo. Looking for options, he's got bodies in the box, but he decides to lay it off to Norgard, who feeds it in behind here for Damsgaard. Gets to the byline, Damsgaard blocked off well by Tyler Adams, who puts it out for the Brentford corner. That's much better football. Initially you think Brentford are going to go for the cross, but it's just really nice work from Mbeumo. The composure just to play it inside to Christian Norgard, who feeds it beautifully, reverses it in behind for Mikkel Damsgaard, takes the touch, gets it to the byline, and then tries to cut it across the 6-yard box, and it was well blocked by Tyler Adams, but really nice football from Brentford there on that occasion. And Mbeumo to take this corner, left-footed, flecked on and find the back of the net. Johan Vissa, the aerial quality from Brentford showing up in their first corner of the game, and they get the equalising goal. Quite sensationally, those two have linked up many's a time before for Brentford goals. Maybe not that way before from a corner, but Johan Vissa pops up, sneaks up, and heads into the far corner to level Brentford in this game of football. Nice delivery by Mbeumo, and he just gets there. Kepa comes for it, and Vissa just gets there ahead of him. He kind of leaps up into the air and just kind of stays there for a couple of seconds. Don't know how. Gravity didn't take effect on him whatsoever. He somehow stays in the air. Time to perfection. The header quite fabulous, and Brentford are back on terms. Said they were very much still in this game, and with their first real bit of top quality in the final third, they get the corner that gets them the goal, that gets them back on the way through, and it will be another Brentford corner. They've already scored from one. They couldn't repeat it again 2 minutes later, could they? Shada and Vissa are in conversation in the box. Whatever that's about. Bit of tactical information. Who knows? Well, we'll see in a moment. And Bournemouth to deliver again, right hand side. Left footed. Deeper this time. Kepa was beaten again, but had someone in the way to help him out. It's Fizz back in. Ayer across. Brought down by Shadow on the spin. Who goes wide. That was close. Kepa has looked so off it so far. Again, missed it for the equalising goal from the first corner. Then the second one, he comes to try and punch it. And I think maybe a Bournemouth defender gets there ahead of him, one of his own teammates. And Hexley helps him out, because if he doesn't get there, it's another clean header on goal. And another shocker for the goalkeeper. And luckily for him, he was kind of bailed out there, was Kepa. Brentford all of a sudden getting that equalising goal. Probably could have added a second or even a third to add to that. Fine margins. Penix, ball over the top. Chested down well by Ilya Zabarnyi. Now Howson finding Semenyo, has to skip away from Norgaard's challenge. Now finding Lewis Cook on the right hand side. Has to come back to Zabarnyi. Howson. Zabarnyi. Forward it went. Kluivert tried to get involved in that. Actually takes the pace off the cross. Found it wide to Cook, but he couldn't find a teammate. It's now given away, but Vissa trying to latch upon that ball in behind. Was beaten to it by the Bournemouth defence. Again, the last 10 minutes, been more possession for Brentford, 58%. They've had all the shots in the last 10 minutes, the visitors. Certainly responding well to going behind and growing into this game. Norgaard. Nice switch ball out to the left side for Vissa, but can't get past Zabarnyi again. It was like a brick wall in the way of the Brentford goal scorer. And Bournemouth retrieve. Now on the spin goes Tavernier. Breaks away from Keane Lewis-Potter and feeds in behind here for Kluivert. Evan Nielsen's in the box. Kluivert wants to go himself. Lays it off to Semenyo. Charge down. Kluivert will get a chance at it here. Will he shoot? He'll chip it round the back. And Evan Nielsen trying to keep it in play. He does so ahead of Mbeumo. Now lays it off to Kerkez. Howson. Adams. Zabarnyi. Back to Dean Howson. Now Kluivert. Feeds it through. Kerkez on the overlap. Loops it round the back. Oh, not cleared away confidently. Cook lays it off. Adams with the ball in. Headed away by Collins. And Howson. Nice combination there with Adams to sustain the Bournemouth possession. Just over 10 minutes of the first half to go. Bournemouth 1, Brentford 1. Bournemouth starting to get back on that saddle and try and get back in front in this game. Howson. Space for him to stride down the left channel here. Whip one in. Unmarked, and sliding was Evan Nielsen. And it was saved away. As now the shot fizzed across well wide. No threat as Mbeumo under pressure to get it away from danger. Puts it out from the throw, and Mark Flecken had to make a good save there. Evan Nielsen made a sneak and run round the back post. Semenyo now. Dribbling through bodies, run into trouble past Collins as Mbeumo gives it back. Christie's whip ball. It was too close to Mark Flecken that time. Got to see the replay on that Evan Nielsen chance. It was Howson again earlier on in the game. He just charged forward and had a shot. This time he was a bit too far away, too far to the left to have a shot. He decided to whip it in, and it was a really threatening ball across that, what we call it, the corridor danger. The keeper's really nowhere to be seen. The defender doesn't know that Evan Nielsen's coming around the back of him, and Evan Nielsen has the shot, stretching for it. And Mark Flecken has to make the big save. That was another big chance for Bournemouth on that occasion. Semenyo helping out defensively, but not retrieving the possession here. Vissa on the spin. Right, Ayer comes back in field. Lays it off to Damsgaard, who will switch it over the top. Ayer continued his run. Ayer up against Semenyo, gets the better of his man. Across goal it goes. And the shot over the bar by Vitaly Janelt. Again, nice work from Ayer. Bournemouth's goal came from an underlapping run from a fullback. This time it's Brentford that are causing that problem. The underlapping run from Ayer. He's tracked all the way by Semenyo, but he just beaten for physicality, the Bournemouth winger. And the cutback from the edge of from the byline from Ayer was threatening, and Janelt off balance, stretching and leaning back, could only see it fly over the bar. As Brandon Bournemouth's going to get a free kick there. A little bit of a clash with Milos Kerkez. This is what I mean by such a evenly matched game, and two sides that I did mention at the start that this game will to and fro. One side will have a good spell, then the opponent will have a good spell, and it will swing back and forth the whole way throughout. Because that's the quality of these two teams, and also the ambition of these two teams. They're not looking to sit back and see out big opportunities and try and nick a 1-0. They want to play attractive football. They want to play good football. And actually, that's where Brentford have been doing so well away from home. Not trying to overplay themselves, or not trying to overplay the game. Just doing the simple things right and playing a long, direct ball in behind has caused problems. And so far, being more direct has actually got Brentford back into this game. As the free kick from Flecken into the box. Convincingly won by either team there as Bournemouth clear it away. Picked up by Mbeumo. Around about the halfway line. Mbeumo beaten off the ball fairly by Kluivert. And now it's just an outmatch of numbers. 4-on-3. Here comes Christie. Down the left side, heavy touch, and Christian Norgard couldn't rescue it, couldn't keep it in play. Sorry, and the throw-in comes Bournemouth's way. But Christie, heavy touch there. He could have made more of that opportunity. The heavy touch let him down. Kerkez though, with this throw-in, finds Huyson again, and Mbeumo on the balls got caught in possession a number of times in quite dangerous areas, shall we say, because if Bournemouth win it back, and they have won it back a number of times, they just got the outmatching of numbers. They've got the man advantage and the overload in those areas, and that's where Brentford are kind of coming a bit unstuck at the minute. When they get Mbeumo on the ball and he's trying to carry it from really deep and get them into attacking positions, he's losing possession. That's much better from Mbeumo. Lovely first time ball in behind for Shada, who beats past Huyson. And ball across the box. Goes completely untouched. And now Cook will have free space down the right side to break for Bournemouth here. That's nice work. Finding Kluivert now was Tavernier. Kluivert spins one out wide. Kerkez takes it down. Comes back in field. Finds Christie. Lays it off to Kluivert. Has to go across to Tavernier, and out to the right-hand side comes Cook. Back to Tavernier. Less than 5 minutes of the first half to go. Still 1-1. Adams. Christie. Back to Tyler Adams. Semenyo now just passing the ball around with pace and keeping it moving at the minute, Bournemouth. Huyson, nice ball in behind here for Kerkez across. Low and hard this time. And well met by Nathan Collins, who got a clear of danger. But it's coming right back at Brentford here. Huyson switches one round the back again, this time too far ahead of Marcus Tavernier. And behind for a goal kick to Brentford. I talked about on the ball for Brandon Mbeumo, how he was poor trying to break past players. This time he completely just forgets about that for the chance a moment or two ago. Just stands still, waits for the runner to get past him and Kevin Shada, and plays a pinpoint perfect ball in behind. And Shattuck tries to square the ball across the 6-yard box for a tap-in for anybody in pink. And there's just no one in Brentford colours there. Bournemouth, they're causing the Brentford defence problems. And these reverse balls, those cute angled balls in behind. Lovely little pass by Tavernier. And Evan Nielsen tries to go from the narrow angle. It's always curling wide a goal, but not too far away from the Bournemouth number 9. And a half-decent opportunity there. Now here's Adams. To find Kluivert. Lays it off now to Christie. Into the box. Christie! Oh, effort just narrowly wide of the right post. That's a very good opportunity. And almost causing problems. Christie takes the touch on the edge of the box. And as he breaks into the box, just sees the little gap open up. And he strikes it with his left across goal. And it just goes narrowly wide of that right post. Decent effort, decent chance. Not taken on that occasion. Do hope those technical problems are resolving themselves. At the moment, a bit unsteady. We'll keep you up to date with that. We'll try our very best to stay with you as long as we possibly can at the minute. A few technical gremlins at the moment. That's nice work from Semenyo. Now Adams. As we hit the 45-minute mark at the end of the first half, we will have 1 additional minute at the end of the first, and hopefully at half-time we can resolve those technical issues for you. Ball into the box, cleared away by Pinnock, not convincingly though. Kluivert lays it off to Christie here. Goes wide, finds Semenyo, who will whip one, but just too high. And over the bar it went for a goal kick. Half-decent effort really. Again, there always seems to be space in and around the edge of the box for Bournemouth. When they get into those areas, they kind of just switch themselves across, and there's always a free body, a free man, and a little bit of space to try and unleash a strike. This time they went wide, and Semenyo saw his effort go over the bar, but there are opportunities to get those shots off at the edge of the box for Bournemouth at this moment in time. Long ball forward. Evan Nielsen chasing the ball, and it will go out for a throw-in, of which there is no time to take, because that is the end of the first half. A first half that has been very evenly matched. Both sides have had their good chances, and certainly opened the scoring with 2 really nice bits of football that ended with 2 really nice goals. Bournemouth find the net with a Vitaly Yenelt own goal, but it was beautiful team play right out until the finish. And Brentford responding when Mbeumo and Vissa matched up from a corner. Half-time at the Vitality Stadium. It's Bournemouth 1, Brentford 1. Analysis on the way next. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time in this one this evening for the final game of Saturday's fixture list. And it is at Bournemouth 1, Brentford 1 at half-time. And a cracking first half. Full of quality, full of chances. And certainly a couple of good goals to go alongside it as well. A very good first half. We're having some technical problems and we're trying really hard to resolve them at the minute. But they are... evading us and doing their very best to annoy us this evening, but we'll try and power through. We'll do our very best to get the best out of this as we possibly can. We are trying ever so hard. Do believe that we are trying everything that we can to get things resolved for you. But we're here to analyse the first half, and a first half that I'd say overall a very even first 45. When it came to both teams, they both showed quality, they both showed really strong attacking football, and they both showed where their main threats are. You know, we say it so often, Bournemouth, with that front four, they're so threatening, and especially with Kierke's as well, that gets involved in the attack so often. Alongside that, when you combine that together, that kind of threat is so hard to overcome. And it was proven in that goal. They didn't have to finish the ball. They just needed to do the approach play bit, get the ball into the right area, and in the end they got a little bit of luck that it came off for Janelt. But the quality of the footballers, all of them were involved in the build-up. You know, Tavernier, Kluivert, Semenyo, Evan Nielsen, and Kierke's, all involved in that mix-up. They were moving and passing and just kind of exchanging the whole Brentford defence, and it's a couple of times in that first half that it's happened where they've combined really nicely and caused Brentford some real problems because they don't know who to mark, they don't know where to go, they're kind of a bit frazzled in their defending in that first half at times, Brentford, and really struggling to get a consistent kind of defensive structure going. But again, did a pretty good job overall, I would say, Brentford, because Bournemouth, their threat has been quite remarkable. And so far, I've only scored one goal from that sort of situation. From Brentford's point of view, their qualities in the first half mainly came from the fact that they were, very much still in the game. Of course, they were at 1-0 down. There's no doubting that fact. They were very much still in the game. But when you look at it at the point of Bournemouth were on top, they were cruising, they were maybe trying to push for a second goal to add to their lead rather than trying to hold on to the one-goal lead. They were still pushing for more, and I think that gave Brentford a little bit of confidence to get back into the game and get themselves on the front foot again, and it worked because they got the corner, their first corner of the game, and it was clearly something they'd worked on because in his celebration, Johan Vissa goes over to the technical one of the coaches, I'm guessing it's the set-piece coach, for Brentford, and hugs him and celebrates with him. So clearly it's something they've worked on, something they've spotted in Bournemouth defending corners before tonight, and where they find the evidence. Great delivery by Brian Mbeumo, and he just popped up, got ahead of the goalkeeper, and a really nice header from Johan Vissa to level the game. They almost could have had the lead themselves, Brentford, with a couple of chances. Mbeumo missing the target. Kevin Schade had a chance where he squared it across the 6-yard box, but no one there to meet it. Bournemouth having a couple of close calls as well, so there very easily could be more goals in this first half, but a very well matched, two very well matched teams at the minute playing out a very evenly matched game. And it's anybody's guess as to who will end up picking up a victory. If either team does, of course, it very easily could end the draw. But Bournemouth, of course, will want the 3 points, and I'll show you why. Because we did these graphics before or after the 3 o'clock kickoff. So this is the way the table stood before kickoff in this game. So this is the way the table stands before kickoff, so not live, because Bournemouth would jump up above Aston Villa with a draw this evening. But as it stands before kickoff this evening, around about 5 o'clock, Bournemouth 9th place. They were just 4 points off Manchester City in 5th for the race for Europe, and just 5 points off top 4. They are 3 points off Newcastle United, which will be enough for Europa League football as it stands. So they're really in the mix, Bournemouth, and their goal difference is better than the 3 teams above them. So that gives them quality. If they win this evening, they jump up to 6th and have the better goal difference of the teams that are behind them and in the mix with them. And depending if they win by a certain amount, could have one of the best goal differences of any of the teams for the race for Europe, because it could theoretically come down to goal difference that decides who's in Europe and who isn't come the end of the season. But Bournemouth are our focus. Brentford not quite in the mix yet. If they win this evening, they certainly could get themselves back in the mix for trying to threaten for Europe later in the season, or in the next month or two. But we'll talk about that as and when we need to. For now, Bournemouth are our focus, and let's have a look at Bournemouth's fixture list to the end of the season in trying to find that European spot. Of course, playing Brentford today at home. The next game isn't until the 2nd of April, which is after the international break. So Ipswich at home. Ipswich beat Forest today by 4-2. Then they head to West Ham, which you would expect they would feel they want to win, or they feel that we should win. Fulham will be a tough one, but they're at home, so they might edge a good result there. Crystal Palace away, tough place to go, but again, probably expect to be the better side. United at home is a tough one. You don't know what Manchester United team's going to show up, so that could be go either way. That result. Then they head to Arsenal, Villa, City, which is a tough 3 fixtures. Away to Arsenal and away to Manchester City, either side of a home game against Aston Villa. 3 teams, of course, that will be chasing Champions League football, or chasing certainly European football come the end of the season. So those could be tasty fixtures. And then they host Leicester on the final day of the season, Bournemouth. On the 25th of May. That's their run-in, but some very tough fixtures in there, but also some very winnable ones. I think the most winnable, Ipswich, West Ham, Fulham, of course Leicester, but that's way far in the last game of the season. But again, would you rather have easier games in the build-up, or would you rather have an easy game on the final day to try and win it, and leave it all down to the final day? Who knows, because what position could we be in come Matchday 38 with the race for Europe? It seems like the European football, the big headline maker for the final day this year, because it looks very likely we know who the title winners are going to be, and it looks very likely who we know are going to go down this season. The 3 teams that come up look like they're heading straight back down to the Championship. So the race for Europe is mainly the only kind of show in town at the minute. And Bournemouth, certainly, why not? Why couldn't they be one of those teams that chases Europe come the end of the season? And they're certainly in the mix now. Who knows? What are the limits? What is the ceiling for Bournemouth? They could, theoretically, with the extra Champions League place, I mean, it's not very likely, but you never know. With Manchester City dropping points today, and failing to go above Chelsea once again, and failing to jump into that top 4 again, albeit top 5 will be enough for Champions League, but they would have rather been on 50 points than 48, because they're still kind of just hanging above those clutch of teams below them, Man City, and they're very far from confirmed, so they've still got a tough 9 games to come as well. So nothing is certain for any of those teams. I think, obviously, Forest, for a bit of perspective on what's above them, they're 5 points clear of Chelsea, albeit Chelsea will play tomorrow after Forest's 3-point victory, or their victory away at Ipswich this afternoon. So Forest could still get dragged back into the mix, but I think they're more looking towards Arsenal ahead of them, who are just a point ahead of Forest in that battle. But worry about that another time. We are still trying to resolve these issues. It's a bit up and down with the way things are going. There might be a little break up when we go to a break here. We're going to go to a break and try and fully resolve this issue. If we can't, we'll try our very best to stay with you right through the second half. But at the moment, it's working fine. Hopefully it stays like that. We'll see. We'll try our very best. We'll be back for the second half between Bournemouth and Brentford. It's about 3.5 minutes away. And if there's any break up, do stay with us. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time at the Vitality. It's Bournemouth 1, Brentford 1. Second half on the way in just a moment in that one. But don't forget, our big weekend doesn't conclude tonight. We have a big Premier League game for you tomorrow. And a big cup final as well on the vibes for tomorrow's fixture list. Arsenal take on Chelsea tomorrow, 1:30 from the Emirates. Arsenal currently at the moment 15 points behind Liverpool. Their game in hand is that game against Chelsea tomorrow. A big 3 points will be needed for Arsenal tomorrow. But for Chelsea, they've got their own race to chase, and they're chasing Champions League football. A big 3 points tomorrow would take them 4 points clear of 5th place Manchester City after the same number of games. Both have got a lot on the line. And then, speaking of a lot on the line, it's a cup final. The Carabao Cup final, the 2025 Carabao Cup final from Wembley, sees the holders at Liverpool looking to retain their trophy and extend their record to 11 times winners as they take on a Newcastle side who haven't won a domestic trophy in 70 years. Quite remarkable. 4:30 kickoff tomorrow from Wembley Stadium. Right, welcome back to the Vitality. Second half between Brentford and Bournemouth is on the way. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That will be greatly appreciated. We're all but ready for the second half to get underway. Oh, that's interesting. A half-time chat with the Bournemouth head coach, Andoni Iraola there. It's not often you see that in English football. Something that's become a little bit more common recently, but it's more American sports. You see a half-time chat with the managers. And at the moment, Andoni Iraola giving his thoughts to the reporter there on the sidelines. So he's ready to get underway for the second half. A big second half for his team, for Andoni Iraola. 3 points would get them within touching distance of Champions League football. Something Bournemouth could only have dreamed of. Maybe if they couldn't have even dreamed of it 10 years ago, when they were battling in the EFL, trying to get to this position. They've been in the Premier League for quite a number of seasons. They've been back in the Championship since, of course, since their first promotion. But of course, Bournemouth are a side that might just break that risk and become the next English side to foray into Europe. Of course, Brighton are the latest to make their debut in Europe from Premier League teams. And Brighton got their first season in Europe in the Europa League last season. Quite remarkable season for Brighton last year. They could return to Europe under Fabian Hürzeler. That big draw away at Manchester City earlier this afternoon. They're currently at the moment, as it stands, just 2 points above Bournemouth, with this game currently at 1-1, as we already have the second half underway. And a big second half indeed for both teams, with their respective ambitions. As I said, Bournemouth's ambition is to chase Europe, quite clearly. But Brentford's ambition, well, Thomas Frank was quite coy about what their ambition is, where they want to finish this season. He said top half, and then said we'll worry about Europe if we can get the top half first. As Kerkez gets across, and Tavernier got something on it, keeps it alive here. Kluivert's. And to start the second half as they left the first off, Bournemouth trying to push for that second goal as Kluivert's delivery and the header off the crossbar. Great cross, and right off the crossbar, denying Bournemouth a second goal. As Kerkez feeds it up. I'm trying to see who it was. It might have been Semenyo, or was it Evan Nielsen? One of the two. We'll see it again here. I think it might be Semenyo. It is. It looks like it. Yeah, it is. It's Semenyo. Lovely ball by Justin Kluivert. Beautiful whip ball. And Semenyo completely unmarked, free header, and it glances off his head and comes crashing off the crossbar. The woodwork denying the Cherries a second goal early in this second half. Cook. Kluivert. Nice link up here with Tavernier. Reverses it out wide to Cook. And Cook trying to feed Tavernier again in behind. But that was well marshalled by Vitaly Janelt. Back to his goalkeeper. Flecking goes long. And that was nicely dealt with there by Kirkes under pressure. Christie now finding Semenyo. Bournemouth with their tails up at the minutes. Starting the second half quite energetically. Nice link up between Kluivert and Evan Nielsen. Justin Kluivert can't get the cross in. We'll get a second chance at it. Kluivert rolls it back to Adams. Now Kirkes. Wide to Kluivert again. Kluivert finding Semenyo. He was beaten off the ball well by Nathan Collins. Brentford play out from the back here. Hopefully a little footwork there from Ayer, but if only his passing was as good as his footwork, because he gave the ball straight to Tyler Adams. Adams now. Finding Kluivert. Couldn't see that there. Justin Kluivert wide, trying to get the cross in, and actually does get the deflection and the block to win the corner. That was really nicely worked by Kluivert. It looked like he just run out of room there. But he knew he was going to run out of room and decided to rescue a corner. Certainly come out with the ambition to get back in front, Bournemouth. Kluivert's delivery from the corner, right-footed, cleared away at the front post. Christie will keep it alive. Kluivert back to Ryan Christie. Now lays it off to Milos Kerkez. Whips one into the box, and Vissa got something to it. Huyson brings it down beautifully. Cook now, back to Tavernier. Wide to Lewis Cook. Beats past Vissa, beats past him again. Gets left one up to the back post. Damsgaard brings it down and clears it away. The sheer pressure from Bournemouth. Brentford cannot get out of their own defensive third at the minute. Zabarnyi feeds it wide to Kluivert again. Christie now. Looking for a way to get through and brought down there by Damsgaard. As he tried to skip away, he was taken down by the Dane. And a free kick to Bournemouth on the round about the edge of the box here. Yeah, just a bit of a stray leg from Mikael Damsgaard. Trying to win the ball back, left the leg hanging. And catching Ryan Christie. Getting Bournemouth a free kick. Very far wide on that left-hand side. Tavernier and Kluivert are over this set piece. It's the delivery by Tavernier. Cleared away, punched away. But there's going to be a free kick here for Brentford. Flecken got it away, but I think there's a bit of a foul on Vitaly Janelt, which the referee spotted and gave instantly there. Yeah, it was a good delivery by Tavernier. Headed away by Collins as his keeper came scrambling, and then as Adams tried to keep it in the box, tried to recycle the ball, he kind of caught Vitaly Janelt a bit unfortunately there. And a free kick for Brentford. Lets them off the hook a little bit. As Flecken clears it long. Shada battling. Last touch off a Brentford player there, according to the officials. Bournemouth got the throw. Tavernier riding a few challenges. Runs into trouble though. Damsgaard now down the left. Well blocked by Adams. On the cover. We'll go out for a Brentford throw in. Which gets a bit of a sarcastic cheer from the away crowd. They felt the earlier one should have went their way, but Shada takes it short. Damsgaard on the turn. Finds Janelt. Now Damsgaard. Long effort. Headed away by Collins. Kept alive by Norgard. Flipped back in. But again, Bournemouth rigid and stubborn defensively. Come away with the ball as Christie sends one looping over the top. Evan Nielsen the charge in behind. Strong defending by Keane Lewis Potter there, linking up with Norgard to get Brentford out of defensive trouble. Collision there between Cook and Shada. Sees the free kick go the way of the visitors. It's a bit of an entanglement between Lewis Cook and Kevin Shada there. And it's in the Bournemouth half, and Brentford are certainly very aggressive approach. They've brought their goalkeeper up to take it, Mark Flecken. So it's across the halfway line. So Flecken will take this left hand side, round about the halfway line, as I said. Fizzes one across the pitch, headed on by Pinnock, but given away to Bournemouth. So it comes back here with Cook. Now Tavernier. That set piece really just came to nothing from Brentford's point of view. Pinnock's header went straight back to Bournemouth. That's lovely from Adams. Reverses it in behind for Tavernier on the right flank here. Tries to chop inside, but Kevin Shada was there in cover and did very well to dispossess Marcus Tavernier. Now here's Janelt. Forward to Vissa. Lays it off for Keane Lewis Potter. Down the left side, trying to link up with Vissa again, who takes the touch past one defender. And another in Dean Howson, who's penalised for a little pull on Johan Vissa. And a free kick will go Brentford's way here, one of which Dean Howson is a bit bemused by that decision by the referee, Craig Pawson. Yeah, a little tug on the right shoulder of Johan Vissa. Is it enough to bring him down? Well, is it a foul, or did he try and buy that one, Johan Vissa? And certainly are on the side of the latter. Looked like he kind of bought it a little bit, but nothing against it really. And Bournemouth to take this free kick then. Left-footed delivery towards the back post. The header brought down, but cleared away by Evan Nielsen, and the flag was up anyway. So nothing would have counted. Well, so far, 10 minutes gone in the second half. Bournemouth with, again, as like the first half really, the start of the first half, they dominated the ball, 60% of the possession. Just the one shot so far from either team in the second half, and that was, of course, the header from Antoine Semenyo that came crashing off the crossbar. As Kluivert has space to roam forward here. Chops away from Janelt. Kluivert feeds it in behind. Tavernier's in the box, and the shot charged down. Don't know whether the flag was going to go up or not. I'll have to see it again. Lovely little play. He was just... Ooh, that would have been tight, that. Would have been Ayer that could have been playing Tavernier on that far post, but didn't matter. Tavernier's shot was charged down and caught by Mark Flecken. In the end... Adams. Howson. Down the left side, finding Semenyo. Holding off him. Ayer there. Keeping the possession for Bournemouth. Here is Ilias Zabarny. Now Tavernier down the right hand side. Overlapping as Cook. Comes inside though. Tavernier finding Kluivert. Space to find any sort of chance here. Feeds it wide to Semenyo. Overlapping with Kerkez. Cuts it back to Christie though. Christie's ball in. Round the back. Cook keeps it alive. No one there to meet it. But a Brentford player who cleared it away with Ayer. Although the referee is now going to give the free kick. It looked like there was a foul in there. He didn't give it on the first occasion, the referee. But in the end did give it against Evan Nielsen. Yeah, Cook's cut back into the box. Looping in the air. And as Norgard tries to get it clear of danger, he's just kind of hunched over there as Ryan Christie got into the box and kind of shoved him to the ground. Certainly a foul. Bounces forward. Bournemouth have the possession. Once more. Janelt. Schade. Loose ball. Delivered wide by Vissa. Here is Mbeumo. Into the box. The deflection. Right up into the hands of Kepa Arrizabalaga. That could have caused a problem. It was much more cohesive from Brentford that time. Linking up nicely. That was a bit of a bundling over from Evan Nielsen, who wanted to take the free kick quickly. Wasn't allowed to because he was surrounded by players in pink for Brentford. And they will get the chance to retake it. Yeah, wanted to hurry things up there. Evan Nielsen wasn't given that opportunity. Howson. Adams has to come back the way. It's a nice ball over the top, just a bit short. Find the runner there from Bournemouth. Christie, nice work finding Howson. Although caught in possession there was Adams. Cliver trying to help out. Adams trying to win it back. But Brentford on the move here with Mbeumo. Tracked all the way as Christie gets something in on that pass. And ended up having the last touch there. Did Christie, it looked like. A little bit of confusion over this throw-in. Both teams thought they'd won the throw-in. They're both about to take it there. So they were. Norgard still a bit hobbling about a bit from that earlier moment with Ryan Christie in the box. It is a Brentford throw. Ayer lays it off to Damsgaard. Norgard feeding it in behind. Ayer chasing forward against Kerkez. And the bouncing ball will go behind. Off Milos Kerkez for a Brentford corner. Of which the Bournemouth fullback is not particularly happy with that decision. Fiercely in denial of that. I didn't quite see the replay of it, but I couldn't quite see a clear angle to show whether who had come off last. If we get a replay, we would certainly explain it to you, but at the minute we have to stick with the officials' decision. Some Mbeumo and Janelt there in conversation. Delayed with this corner. There's the set piece coach for Brentford on screen. Why? I hate when they do that. Corner delivered in by Mbeumo. Cleanly cleared away by Kluivert at the front post. I mean, you can make every plan in the world from set pieces and have the best ideas, but if you don't have someone to deliver it properly, it's not going to work. And that was an awful delivery by Bryan Mbeumo. Quite the opposite to the delivery he quite simply delivered for the Brentford equaliser. They do have the throw in though down the right side. Long throw into the box. Headed away by Howson. Nice header by Janelt to keep it alive. Right with Norgard, it goes low. It's cleared away nicely by Christie, and now Evan Nielsen tries to get Bournemouth on the break here. Kluivert feeding it down the line. Evan Nielsen on the charge, trying to battle his defender, gets past his defender. Evan Nielsen in the box, goes across, trying to find Semenyo, but the ball only found the hands of the diving Mark Flecken. Lovely ball by Kluivert in behind by Evan Nielsen. Evan Nielsen beats past Collins, who was too easily beaten off the ball. And in the end, the cross met the hands of Flecken rather than his teammate Antoine Semenyo, who was the desired target. Once again, Bournemouth trying to threaten on the counter-attack. And they've certainly got the pace and the quality to do so. Not finding the right finish at the moment in those areas. As Tavernier felt he was, Adams, apologies, felt he was fouled there. Tavernier chasing to win the ball back. Here's Lewis Potter. Couldn't get past Tyler Adams that time. Will be a Brentford throw. And we have passed the hour mark. And it looked like Brentford were readying a substitution a moment or two ago. They haven't quite pulled the trigger on that just yet, as Lewis Potter takes the throw in. It's sent long up the field. Space here for Shada to spin. Shada gets past Howson. Shada into the box. Shada gets past Howson again, goes down, but there's no way that's a penalty. And a bit clumsy, but I don't think that's enough to give a penalty. We'll see it again. Howson chasing back, and I think the momentum just carries him towards Shada, and Shada just losing his balance a little bit as Howson kind of grabs his right arm. There's nowhere enough for that to be a penalty. Just a goal kick. Christie. Kluiverts. Back to Ryan Christie. Tight space there. Lays it off to Justin Kluivert again. Both sides trying to push for something. Find that second goal that would give them the lead. Kluiverts. Breaking into the box. Runs right into Kevin Shada, who was back defending. And now wants to break himself. But that's fabulous interception by Tyler Adams to break it apart. Now lays it off to Tavernier. Goes back to Howson. Now Christie, wide it goes to Kierkees. Christie goes right across the box here. Evan Nielsen lays it off, and Tavernier! Too high. That would have been a great goal if Tavernier had kept it down there. It was nicely fed in by Christie. Kluivert left it. Evan Nielsen took it facing away from goal and just laid it off for Tavernier, who swung at it with his left foot but just got too much height behind it, and it carried it over the bar for a goal kick. But that would have been a wonderful goal if it had found the net. As it looks like Bournemouth are readying a substitution here. Luis Sinisterra is getting himself ready, or actually he's talking to his head coach there in Antonio Iriola. Not going to make that sub just yet, as the ball is in play. 25 minutes to go. Bournemouth 1, Brentford 1. The game still anybody's for the taking. Kepa goes long. Kick has tried to win the header, beaten to it. And as the ball's brought down, Brentford have the advantage. Janelt's ball, terrible, although it's given away by Zabarnyi. And he gets it straight back from Mbomo there. Zabarnyi now striding forward, finding Christie. Space here for Bournemouth, bodies flooding forward. Ryan Christie into the box. Feeds it wide for Semenyo. Semenyo lifts it round the back. Tavernier brings it down. Now cuts it back for Cook, who will deliver deep round the back. Semenyo up there challenging, but Mbomo there doing enough. Kept alive by Kierkees though. Howson, nice ball into Tavernier on the reverse. Evan Nielsen tried to squeeze through, but he was offside as Kluivert's ball found him. He's in an offside position. So a change incoming then for the home side. It's going to see Ryan Christie replaced by Luis Sinisterra. So Sinisterra on and Christie off. We'll see what kind of setup this will see Bournemouth go for. They have the most goals by substitutes this season. 12 goals from substitutes, more than any other Premier League side. So he certainly knows what he's doing when he goes to his bench to change things up. And they certainly offer some cutting edge when they do enter the fray, those substitutes here for the Cherries. Well accustomed to some late goals as well this season. Howson does really well on his press, wins it back off Damsgaard there. Zabarnyi. Howson again. Finding Tavernier a bit more central now. Kierkees wide to Semenyo. Takes on his man, gets across the box. and Sinisterra was lurking along with Evan Nielsen. The ball cleared away. Right for a throw-in down that left-hand side. Nice touch there by Howson. Kirkes' cross. Headed away by Collins. Chested down by Vissa on the turn. Wants to break away from Tavernier. A little pull by Marcus Tavernier there is going to stop the Brentford counter-attack in its tracks and get himself a yellow card for his troubles. There, Marcus Tavernier. Yeah, he just holding on to Johan Vissa a little bit too long there. And the referee deeming it stopping a promising attack, which is therefore a yellow card. His 5th of the season for Marcus Tavernier. Look at that. Compact. Full to the rafters, this stadium on the south coast, under the lights. And with a big 22 minutes or so to go. As Brentford deliver the ball into the box here, Shada couldn't get a clean header to it. Janelt keeps it alive. Collins. Out wide it goes now to Damsgaard. Finding Ayer. Down the right hand side, Christopher Ayer. Up against Sinisterra. Damsgaard gets it now. Tries to reverse it back to Ayer, who takes it down well. Damsgaard blocked by Sinisterra. And we'll go out for a Brentford throw on that right side. Well, despite Bournemouth having a lot of the control of the ball, and certainly double the shots of Brentford, it is the visitors that are still very much in this game and very much a main threat to try and nick a win here. That would really kind of massively open up the race for Europe. Might catapult Brentford back into that conversation. Long throw. Cleared away by Kirkes, sorry. Shada tried to whip it back in again. Yeah, get the chance to go for another throw-in. That's the last touch there of a Bournemouth player. So Shada might rinse and repeat that previous moments. Might go for another long throw. As he does. Bouncing down this time, and the shot finds the back of the net. The first one didn't work out, but the second certainly did. And Christian Norgard, the first to respond, the first to react. And with a sweeping effort right into the bottom right corner, gives Brentford the lead. The long throw causing problems. And Bournemouth failing to deal with those threats. And find themselves from 1-0 up at the start of the first half to now 2-1 down with 20 minutes to go. The long throw, failure to deal with it on the first and the second bounce. And as it falls, Norgard absolutely catches it sweetly and perfectly. Kepa has absolutely no chance. He's rooted, has no chance to react. And Christian Norgard, the Brentford captain, could be leading his team to a massive victory on the road to try and catapult themselves back into the European conversation. Bournemouth 1, Brentford 2. And just as that goal was scored, Brentford are going to make a double substitution. They were readying one or two a few minutes ago. And now they're coming on. Sepp Vandenberg replacing Christopher Ayer, and Yarmolyuk replacing Vitaly Janelt. So some switches for Brentford. Now with the lead, what do? Do they sit and try and defend it? Or do they keep doing what they've been doing and latching upon little moments here and there? But how quickly and how differently a game can be if one of those previous chances for Bournemouth had went in. That's the fine margins. Brentford, we have to talk about their away form. We haven't really talked about it as of yet. They couldn't buy a win at the start of the season. They had a terrible, torrid start to the season away from home. but they've now gone 5 unbeaten on the road in the Premier League. Could make it 6. They've actually won 4 in a row on the road. Could make it 5 wins in a row if they see out this result this evening. It would be quite remarkable. Quite a contrast to the start of the season. Here's Tyler Adams though, finding Sinisterra. Wide to Kerkez. Bournemouth will fight for it all now and try and avoid losing 3 successive home games in the Premier League. That's what they're staring down the barrel of at the minute. 3 successive home defeats in the league. As Adams feeds it in behind. Evan Nielsen goes down. Well, the flag goes up. It looked like he was going to point to the spot there, the referee, but the flag went up to save him his blushes of making an early decision, and Evan Nielsen stayed down. We'll see the replay. Is he offside? He is offside. That's really strong defending from Brentford. They've moved to a back 3, so they've changed the defensive setup in the last few minutes, with Lewis Potter, Collins and Pinnock, the back 3. And to get that perfectly in line against a very good striker who times his runs usually perfectly, Evan Nielsen. It looked like a penalty. If he was onside, it would have been a penalty. But he was quite clearly offside from the replay. And a very good decision by the assistant to flag it from that sort of area. And that one, the offside trap, of which Bournemouth fell into on that occasion, and it got Brentford off the hook. So that ball by Damsgaard was a bit aimless. Bournemouth will get the throw in down the left hand side. There were just over 15 minutes to go. A reminder for you that Brentford's away wins, 4 successive away wins. They started with their biggest ever away Premier League win against Southampton when they won 5-0 on the 4th of January. They won away at Crystal Palace, away at West Ham and away at Leicester, scoring a total of 12 goals in those 4 games and conceding just 1, which was in a 2-1 victory over Crystal Palace. They have been absolutely imperious away from home, Brentford, in the last number of games since the turn of the year, since 2025. They drew their final away game of 2024 and have won all 4 Premier League away games this calendar year so far, and we're into middle March. Semenyo there, a bit unhappy the fact that foul was given against him on Keane Lewis Potter there, but yeah, bit of a stray elbow. It's nothing malicious whatsoever from Antoine Semenyo, but it is a foul. And a yellow card as well, given by the referee Craig Pawson against Antoine Semenyo, his 9th of the season. Which means if he gets another one before the end of the campaign, he will receive a match ban, because the limit is 10 yellow cards before a match ban. Antoine Semenyo received his 9th yellow card of the campaign for that foul there. Here's Tavernier. Bournemouth have to try and find something if they're going to keep the pressure on those teams above them for Europe. Well, they certainly know how to score goals at this point on in a game. The most of any team after the 76th minute in the Premier League this season. 17 goals in the final 15 minutes this season. Semenyo there, diving into challenges. He's given away another free kick. And the referee is just keeping us cool, but Antoine Semenyo might be giving himself a down payment for a second yellow card here with these fouls. He has to be very careful. The last thing Bournemouth need is to lose another player. Certainly a player of his importance in Antoine Semenyo. Still 13 minutes of the game of normal time to go. Bournemouth 1, Brentford 2. And at the minute, Christian Norgard would be the difference maker, as Yarmolyuk there battling, doing what he came onto the field to do, and frustrate Bournemouth, and wins Brentford a throw in down the left side. as it looks like Antonio Areola is going to make more changes. It's going to be David Brooks and James Hill that are going to be coming on in a moment or two to try and change this game. This will come after Kevin Shada's long throw. Well, Brentford scored their seconds. He will try and give them an advantage for a third here. Header at the front post, headed down. Damsgaard's shot. The edge of the box was always curling wide. Now they will make those substitutions, Bournemouth. So Justin Kluivert is going to make way for David Brooks. And Tyler Adams is going to be replaced by James Hill. So a double substitution there for Bournemouth. Brooks and Hill on, Kluivert and Adams off. It looks like Lewis Cook, who started at right back's now gone into midfield alongside Tavernier. And James Hill will go to right back for Bournemouth. And then David Brooks probably, I would guess, would go to the left side. Actually, he's gone central. Has Brooks in the 10 role. So a straight swap between him and Kluivert. Both in terms of tactically. Here's Mbeumo down the right side, trying to feed in Norgard. He does well on the spin, but Kierke is there to intercept. Try and get Bournemouth up and running. Here's Brooks. Trying to offer something different. Sinistera. Gives it wide here. Now he lays it off to Cook. Across the Hill. And Brooks back to James Hill. Just over 10 minutes of normal time to go. Bournemouth having the possession. Here's Tavernier. Feeds it down the left for Sinistera. Trying to eke a bit of space as the cross comes in. And David Brooks' effort straight at the goalkeeper. Either side, and that was 2-2. Great ball by Sinistera. Fabulously weighted ball into the perfect area. Absolutely sensational ball. And Brooks just toe poking it right towards Mark Flecken. And it actually is held by Flecken on the goal line. It is inches away from an equaliser. Sinistera, lovely little spin away from Van den Berg, but he got fought back and won the ball back, did Sepp Van den Berg. Although Brentford have surrendered it again, and now will be penalised, well, Brian Mbeumo, for that challenge on Marcus Tavernier. Free kick to Bournemouth. Well, it just seems like Bournemouth might have a bogey team. And Brentford might seem to be that. They're the only team they have faced in the Premier League that they have never beaten. They have beaten every other team that they have faced, Bournemouth, in the Premier League era since they got promoted. And Brentford are the only team they have never beaten in the Premier League. Quite remarkable. Tavernier's shots! Good save by Flecken. That was from long range, and it wasn't too far away. As Zabarnyi has it back now. That will ignite the Bournemouth attack again. Kierke's whips one in. Flecked on. Too high for Evan Nielsen. Hill trying to keep it in play, but he will get the throw in down the right hand side. There's a man down, I think it's Johan Vissa. They felt he was fouled as Bournemouth won the ball back, but the referee saw no issue with it and decided just to play on. But he seems to be continuing to struggle here, Johan Vissa, as the ball is out of play. Yeah, we'll see this again. Ball was cleared. And Vissa, yeah, he just run into the back of Lewis Cook there. Certainly not a foul. Yeah, it's not a foul. Throw in here for Bournemouth. Long looping one. Headed away by Pinnock. Brought down by Cook on the edge of the box. Fed wide now to Hill. Hill's cross. Headed away by Collins. And hoofed clear by Brown and Bournemouth. But Kirkes will look to retrieve and keep it in play and keep Bournemouth's momentum intact. Ball forward. Howson had come forward there. Stayed forward from the long throw. Damsgaard though tricky in those tight spaces, and now Vissa's got free roam down the left side against Zabarnyi. Vissa steps in field. Vissa tries to place one, but well blocked by Cook. And now Brooks tries to feed it over the top for Evan Nielsen to chase, but well cleared by Collins. And Lewis Potter gets it away from danger, but Bournemouth win it back through Semenyo, who gives it away again. Damsgaard rolls it in behind for Lewis Potter. A third goal would finish the game. Lewis Potter tries to go with the back heel as Bournemouth just about get it away and get a goal kick out of the situation. JH says, what's the chances Bournemouth comes back and wins this? Well, they've done it before. A whole array of changes coming here. 2 for each team. At the minute, this might take a minute to try and digest. The fourth official's not happy. A couple of the Bournemouth players wanted to come off before, but fourth official hasn't put the board up, so not allowed to do that. Changes incoming then for Brentford first. I can tell you, when I get the chance to tell you, it's Damsgaard and Shada that are coming off. And coming on in their places is going to be Ben Mee and Yunus Konak are coming on. So Damsgaard and Shada off, and Mee and Konak are on. For Bournemouth, Zabarnyi's coming off. He's going to be replaced by Jebison, and Sinistera, who came on about 17 minutes ago, 17 minutes ago, is now off again. And Dango Ouattara is on in his place. That was very obscure. Well, you've got to say that's down to injury, because he's been causing problems, Sinistera, since he came onto the field. But has had to be curtailed and only got a 15-minute outset there. And has been replaced by Ouattara. That's nice work from Jebison on the spin. Evan Nielsen now, reversing it into the path of Kirkes. Down the left-hand side comes Ouattara. Ouattara across. Low and hard, and Jebison was in there. But Collins got there first and put it behind for the corner. Lovely by Kirkes down the left side, and Ouattara blasting his way past Sepp Vandenberg. Gets it to the byline, switches it across, and Collins got there ahead of Jebison and puts it behind for the corner. Whipped in. Ouattara was looping. Evades everyone in there. No one got a connection on it as Howson keeps it alive. Cook's delivery. Flicked on by Evan Nielsen. But was always off target. Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult cross. It's a bit too short from Lewis Cook. We got a bit more of bit more distance on that, a bit deeper. Would have been more threatening, but he was kind of stretching back to reach the ball, Evan Nielsen. And it just took all the pace and power and accuracy off it, really. It was always going wide. As we have around about 3 minutes of normal time to go. It is Brentford who are on the verge of pulling off a big result away from home and making it 5 away wins in the Premier League in a row for the very first time. There's Hill there intercepting. Up in the air from Konak. Brooks winning the header. Fed in behind by Jebison as Evan Nielsen on the spin. Well dealt with by Pinnock. And Lewis Potter lays it off now to Yarmoliuk, who goes back to Pinnock, who gets it back to Flecken. Nice interception by Cook. Kerkez. Hill down the right side now, Semenyo. Hill on the overlap. Semenyo goes inside, finding Brooks, who switches out to the left side now. Kerkez. Watara. Watara lays it off to Howson. Back wide to Kerkez on the overlap. Kerkez's delivery. Flicked on by Hill, that was, but cleared away. And now Mburma wants to send Brentford on the counter. Konak keeps it alive. Yarmoliuk. They're not in a hurry to get forward. Brentford back with Pinnock. Switches one out to the left, finding Lewis Potter. Lays it off. Now to Yarmoliuk. Under no real pressure. Lewis Potter with a first touch inside, and Hill was late in his challenge. And a free kick's going to go Brentford's way, and James Hill's going to be the latest Bournemouth player that's going to get a yellow card. A nice ball into the path of Lewis Potter by Pinnock, and he takes the touch inside first time, beats past Hill, absolutely left for dead is James Hill, and he gets his first yellow card of the season for that very late challenge. And gives Bournemouth another set, or Brentford, sorry, another set piece within the last minute of the 90. We'll see how long will be added on in about 30 seconds or so. Brentford have a free kick first to take. And Burma with delivery. And the header well off target, that from Christian Norgard. He fancied another there. Well, he was miles off target with that one. Howson. Back to Kepa. Now Lewis Cook. Time running out for Bournemouth to try and rescue a result here. But they will have 5 added minutes to try and find an equalising goal. Hill's ball. Laid off by Evan Nielsen. The shot by Semenyo. Charged down and caught by Mark Flecken. Down to his left-hand side. Again, it was lovely. Hill over the top. Evan Nielsen chests it back to the edge of the box where there's space and time. And Semenyo cuts off the right side onto his left foot and takes the strike. But easily gathered down to his left side by Mark Flecken. Lacking the venom in that shot from Antoine Semenyo. A reminder that tomorrow we do have an earlier game for you. Usually it's a 2 o'clock kickoff for the Premier League on Sundays, in our early fixture, but we will have at 1:30 the kickoff from the Emirates as Arsenal take on Chelsea in a London derby in the preamble to the Carabao Cup final, which kicks off at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. Howson there wanting to take the free kick quickly. Craig Paulson, the referee, not quite accepting that. Hill. Right in this right-hand side. 3 minutes of the 5 added to go. Bournemouth with time running out. Brooks linking up nicely. With Tara not given the space on the edge of the D. As Brentford applying the anywhere will do method at this stage. Howson sends one long towards Kerkez. Well battled and cleared away by Konak. And the run in behind here from Mburmo. That was a committed one by Kepa, who came out to head it away from the grasp was Mbeumo. Goes out for a Brentford throw. Zach says, how have Bournemouth not got a point from this? Well, they've had chances. They've certainly had more chances than Brentford. Almost double their shots they've had in this game. More than double their XG. They've had 3 big chances and they haven't taken them. That's been their problem today, Bournemouth. Not clinical enough in front of goal. They certainly could have put Brentford to bed, because they've been so much better in the second half. They have been a lot better than their opponents. I think it was a very evenly matched first 45, but the second half, Bournemouth up the ante, came out with a bit more energy and passion and desire around the ball, and it's added that little extra bit of quality. But again, still failing to find the back of the net, and that's 1 goal now. It will be in 3 home games in the Premier League. If they fail to score a second, obviously that would be. And Bournemouth has a free kick here, so 90 seconds to go. It's heavily in the favour that Brentford will see this out, but you never know. There's been last-minute drama involving Bournemouth a number of times this season. But Mbeumo with a chance here for Brentford. Goes direct. Nowhere near the target. That was completely wasted. Goal kick to Bournemouth. They might have one last chance. They might. They might. Kerkes' ball. Hung up in the air, but cleared away by Pinnock, away from Evan Nielsen. Nice header by Konak. Brought down to Yarmolyuk. They can't get the possession at the minute, Bournemouth, to get forward. Lewis Potter. Yarmolyuk. Finding Vissa. Just got away from Hill. They caught a bit of the studs there. Vissa. Striding in field. Johan Vissa. Lays it off now to Konak. On the turn was Vandenberg. Just trying to keep it in this area of the field at the minute. Run the clock down, Brentford. That's what they're doing. Konak. Norgard. And Mbeumo. Not trying their best not to give Bournemouth another touch of the ball. That was fabulously worked by Konak, who wins a free kick. And with 5 minutes now up, that really should be that. When this free kick's taken, that should be the end of this game. And there it is. They didn't even take the free kick. The 95 minutes are up. The final whistle is blown. And for the 6th successive time since meeting in the Premier League, Bournemouth have failed to beat Brentford. They were 1-0 up at 1-0 up at one point in the game. Brentford got back to 1-1. They had chances galore in the second half, Bournemouth, to try and find a lead back again. But it was Brentford that stole the winning goal through Christian Norgard to take all 3 points back to West London. The 5th time in a row they've gone on the road in the Premier League and come back with all 3 points. A club record, the first time they've done that in the Premier League era. Brentford are on some form away from home. And who is arguing now that they can't chase for Europe? They're pushing. And they're in the form at the right point of the season. Who knows? Anything's possible. For Bournemouth, a bit of a stumbling block, but they're still very much in the mix for European football this season and qualifying for next season in one of the competitions. It will be a body blow for them. They had the lead, but they threw it all away, and Brentford continue on that wonderful run of form away from home. Final score at the Vitality Stadium. It is finished Bournemouth 1, Brentford 2. And there we are. The final whistle goes, and that Bournemouth have failed to beat Brentford for the 6th time since they've met. As I said in the commentary, that's the only side that Bournemouth have faced in the Premier League and haven't beaten to this stage. 6 games, 3 seasons, and they've done the double over them for the very first time, Brentford, this season. Quite a wonderful season, and Bournemouth, certainly a team they love playing. For Bournemouth, they never want to see Brentford ever again. I can guarantee you that. We can have a look at the table. and see what way it looks, because for Bournemouth it's not awful. It's not all bad news for them. It's disappointing that, obviously, from their point of view, that they couldn't put the real pressure on the teams at the top. But let's show you what the table looks like then, as it stands after Saturday's action. Liverpool remain top, of course that's no problem. Arsenal in second, Forest come in third. In the chase for Europe, this is the way it looks. Forest, as I said, in third on 54. Chelsea with a chance to go further ahead of those teams below them and solidify their place in fourth, at least for a few weeks. If they can win at Arsenal tomorrow, they would go up to 52 points, which would be a good 4 clear of Manchester City, who failed to pick up 3 points today at home against Brighton. A draw for them sees them move up to 48 points. Newcastle on 47. They will have a game in hand, which they will play in mid-April at home to Crystal Palace. So they have a game in hand on the teams around them. Do Newcastle. Brighton on 47. Aston Villa on 45. And then Bournemouth, who have fallen to defeat for only the 9th time this season, at home to Brentford on 44. Fulham make up the top 10 on 42. Into the bottom half, and at the top of the bottom half of the table, we'll see Brentford, who are on the cusp of breaking into the top half. They're just a point behind 10th place Fulham, but Fulham have still yet to play this weekend. So Brentford on 41. They go back above Crystal Palace, who are on 39, and then a couple of teams below them, quite a number of points below, all on 34. Tottenham, Everton, Man United and West Ham all on 34 points after Everton and West Ham drew at Goodison earlier this afternoon. The 4th successive draw for David Moyes' team, who are on a 9-game unbeaten run, and they've got the Merseyside derby to come next. Wolves took themselves quite firmly clear of the bottom 3, 9 points clear of safety. Are clear of the relegation zone, for Wolves. Ipswich are 9 points adrift of safety, alongside Leicester, who will play later tomorrow evening against Manchester United. But it looks like Wolves are cruising their way to Premier League safety, and it looks like the bottom 3 will stay the bottom 3, is the way it stands. Look at those absolute sea of red kind of graphics, on the L red graphic in their form. Leicester and Southampton have all lost all of the last 5. Ipswich with just 1 point from the last 5. Certainly they're heading for relegation. Right. That's it from us tonight. We're back tomorrow, a little earlier than usual, 1:30, as Arsenal take on Chelsea tomorrow. That is a huge London derby. We will have live for you here from 1:30 kick-off, as Arsenal look to close the gap to Liverpool. That's their game in hand tomorrow, and then close the gap on Liverpool from 15 points to a possible 12 if they can beat Chelsea tomorrow. But Chelsea have their own race on their hands. They want to confirm and certainly solidify a Champions League spot if they can. A big 3 points at the Emirates would help them massively. And then that's only the preamble. That's just the little taster. That's the starter. Tomorrow's main course comes from the Carabao Cup final at Wembley. Kick-off at 4:30 as Liverpool, the Carabao Cup holders, look to take another trophy and extend their record of 10 wins to 11 if they can beat Newcastle tomorrow. That Newcastle side who were beaten in the 2023 Carabao Cup final to Manchester United, they don't want to see the same feat again. They've gone without a domestic trophy in 70 years, Newcastle. That's tomorrow at 4:30. That's it from us tonight. It was Brentford that came away with all 3 points for a 5th successive time this calendar year. It's 3 defeats at home in a row for Bournemouth, with just 1 goal scored. Talk about contrasting form. Good evening.